Hello and welcome to our channel. Today we're going to take a look at some of the greatest philosophical quotes that have ever been said. From ancient Greek philosophers like Socrates and Plato to modern thinkers like Foucault and Sartre, we'll explore some of the most influential and thought-provoking quotes in history and discuss their enduring impact on our understanding of the world around us. So sit back, relax, and join us as we delve into the fascinating world of philosophy and discover some of the most profound quotes that have stood the test of time. Socrates, a classic Greek philosopher, was a proponent of ethics and virtue. He was well known for asking incisive questions in order to expose people's ignorance. He famously said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." This quote encourages us to live a life full of meaning and purpose, one that involves deep self-reflection and examination. According to Socrates, only when we examine our lives, our beliefs, and our actions can we truly begin to understand ourselves and our place in the world. He believed that this process of self-examination can lead to greater wisdom, better decision-making, and a more fulfilling life. It serves as a reminder to all of us that a life lived without intentionality and self-awareness is ultimately pointless and unfulfilling. Next up, we have, "A wise man is one who knows the limits of his own ignorance." This quote highlights Socrates' belief in the importance of recognizing our limitations. He recognized that no one is truly wise or knowledgeable in every area of life, and that it is impossible for us to know everything. Instead, according to Socrates, wisdom lies in knowing the boundaries of our knowledge and being open to learning from others. It encourages humility and intellectual honesty and reminds us that we should not claim to know more than we actually do. By embracing our ignorance and being willing to learn, we can become wiser and more well-rounded individuals. Another famous saying of Socrates is, "All I know is that I know nothing." With this statement, Socrates was emphasizing the value of intellectual humility and the limits of human knowledge. He recognized that there are many things we do not know and that our understanding of the world is limited. Instead of pretending to have all the answers, Socrates advocated for a more humble approach to learning and understanding, one that acknowledges our own ignorance and seeks to learn from others. Plato, a student of Socrates, was a philosopher, mathematician, and writer. He was the founder of the Academy, the first institution of higher learning in the Western world. One of his most famous quotes is, "Try to move the world. The first step is to move yourself." This quote is a call to action for those who want to make a difference in the world. According to Plato, the only way to effect change and improve the world around us is to start with ourselves. By changing our own beliefs, attitudes, and behaviors, we can set an example for others and inspire them to do the same. It's a reminder that we cannot expect to change the world unless we are willing to start with ourselves and strive for personal growth and self-improvement. Another quote by Plato is, "Do not wait for a crisis to discover what is important in your life." This quote encourages us to prioritize what is important to us and not to wait for a crisis to force us to reevaluate our priorities. Plato believed that it is essential to have a clear sense of our values and to make conscious choices about how we spend our time and energy. By waiting for a crisis to occur, we are essentially letting life happen to us, rather than taking control of our own destiny. Instead, we should regularly reflect on what is important to us and make adjustments as needed. This quote serves as a reminder to all of us that life is unpredictable and that we should not take for granted the precious time that we have. In addition, what moves the boat is not the inflated sail, but the wind you cannot see. This quote is a metaphor for the unseen forces that drive our actions and shape our lives. According to Plato, it is not our outward circumstances or superficial pursuits that truly matter, but rather the inner forces that motivate us and give meaning to our lives. It is the invisible winds of change that can propel us forward and help us achieve our goals. We must learn to harness these unseen forces and direct them toward our desired outcomes. Aristotle, a student of Plato, was a philosopher, scientist, and polymath. He was a proponent of virtue ethics, which emphasizes the role of character and good habits in making decisions. He once said, "Having many friends means having none." This quote highlights Aristotle's emphasis on the importance of quality over quantity in our relationships. Having numerous superficial friendships is pointless, in his view, since genuine companionship and mutual trust are what make relationships significant. A true friend is someone who is honest, trustworthy, and supportive. Therefore, having a few genuine friends is preferable to having many acquaintances. We should value the depth and quality of our relationships over the number of friends we have. He also said, "There has never been a great mind without a touch of madness." Aristotle was referring to the fact that creativity and originality frequently emerge from unconventional thinking. Many brilliant thinkers throughout history have exhibited traits of unorthodoxy, such as questioning established norms, thinking outside the box, and embracing unusual ideas. According to Aristotle, this unconventional thinking is frequently viewed as irrational or mad by society. However, it is this very thinking that enables us to come up with original concepts and push the boundaries of human understanding. Creativity and originality frequently arise from a willingness to embrace ambiguity, question accepted norms, and consider new possibilities. Those who dare to be different and embrace their uniqueness frequently accomplish the most and leave a lasting legacy on the world. Furthermore, the ignorant assert, the wise doubt, and the sensible reflect. This quote highlights the differences between intelligence, wisdom, and superficiality. To assert confidently without considering all sides of an issue, according to Aristotle, is a hallmark of ignorance. To weigh the advantages and disadvantages of a situation, to question and to reflect deeply, is a sign of wisdom. Sensible people, according to Aristotle, take a balanced approach, weighing the pros and cons of a situation before speaking. Rather than jumping to conclusions or making unfounded assertions, they consider all viewpoints and think carefully before making a choice. St. Augustine of Hippo was a philosopher, theologian, and bishop. He is considered one of the most significant figures in the history of Christianity, and his ideas have had a profound effect on Western thought. The measure of love is to love without measure. This quote highlights the limitless nature of love. According to St. Augustine, love should not be constrained by rules or regulations. True love means giving oneself entirely to another person or thing, without reservation or limit. This does not imply that love should be impulsive or uncontrolled, but rather that it should be deep, selfless, and unconditional. Love should be cherished and appreciated for its own sake, rather than for any benefit or reward it may provide. He also said, "To have faith is to sign a blank page and let God write on it what He will." This quote speaks to the idea of surrendering oneself to a higher power and accepting whatever fate may bring. According to St. Augustine, faith is not about clinging tightly to particular outcomes or plans, but rather about openness to whatever God may choose to write in our lives. It is a recognition of the limits of our own knowledge and a willingness to trust in something greater than ourselves. Faith does not imply a lack of critical thinking or questioning. Rather, it is a supplement to reason and a recognition of the limits of our own understanding. John Locke was an English philosopher and physician who is considered one of the founders of liberalism. He was a strong advocate for individual rights and freedoms, and his ideas had a profound influence on the American and French revolutions. Reading provides materials for knowledge, but only thinking makes it truly ours. This quote stresses the significance of active engagement with information. According to John Locke, reading alone is insufficient to acquire knowledge. Instead, we must actively digest and ponder the information we read in order to make it our own. We must critically analyze, question, and build upon the ideas we come across while reading in order to develop our own perspectives and judgments. Simply accumulating facts and figures is insufficient. Instead, we must engage with the material, challenge assumptions, and draw our own conclusions. Only then can we truly appreciate the knowledge we have acquired. He also said, "I have always regarded the actions of men as the best interpreters of their thoughts." This quote underscores the significance of studying human behavior. According to John Locke, actions speak louder than words and are the best indicator of a person's true thoughts and motivations. We can infer a lot about a person's beliefs and values by observing their actions and conduct. Words can be deceptive, but actions reveal a person's true intentions and beliefs. This concept has implications for a wide range of contexts, including interpersonal interactions, political analysis, and legal proceedings. David Hume was a Scottish philosopher, economist, and historian who is regarded as one of the most significant figures in the history of philosophy. Beauty in things exists in the mind that contemplates them. This quote is a meditation on the nature of beauty. According to David Hume, beauty is not inherent in objects, but rather in the mind that perceives them. There is no objective standard of beauty. Instead, what we find beautiful is determined by our own tastes, experiences, and cultural standards. Beauty is thus subjective and varies from person to person. He also said, "Reason is, and ought only to be, the slave of the passions." This quote challenges conventional notions of reason and rationality. According to David Hume, reason is not superior to emotions, and it should not be allowed to override our passions and desires. Reason is a tool that should be used to serve our emotional and motivational goals, not the other way around. Our passions and feelings provide the impetus for our actions and choices, and it is our obligation to listen to and respect them. Reason should be used to assess and refine our passions, not to dominate or suppress them. In addition, generally, the errors in religion are dangerous. Those in philosophy are merely ridiculous. This quote compares the consequences of error in religion and philosophy. According to David Hume, mistakes in religion might have serious repercussions, including persecution, warfare, and social unrest. On the other hand, mistakes in philosophy are less harmful and often just appear silly. Religion is a highly charged issue that touches on fundamental questions of right and wrong, heaven and hell, and the nature of the cosmos. As a result, religious convictions are deeply held and fiercely defended by believers, leading to conflict and suffering. Philosophy, on the other hand, is a more neutral and rational investigation of the world that does not carry the same weight or emotional baggage. Rousseau was a Swiss philosopher and writer who is considered one of the most influential Enlightenment thinkers. His ideas had a profound influence on the French Revolution and the development of modern political thought. Those who know little talk much, those who know much talk little. This quote highlights the relationship between knowledge and speech. According to Rousseau, those who know a lot are more likely to be quiet because they realize how much they don't know. On the other hand, those who know little tend to talk a lot because they feel they know more than they actually do. Those who are well versed in a certain subject are more likely to be modest and reserved because they are aware of the complexity and depth of the subject matter. They understand how much they don't know and are reluctant to speak unless they have something valuable to contribute. He also said, "I prefer to be a man of paradoxes than a man of prejudices." This quote refers to the significance of independent thought. According to Rousseau, it is preferable to be perceived as peculiar or unconventional than to adhere to popular beliefs or prejudices. People who hold prejudices are trapped in conventional ways of thinking and refuse to question accepted norms or consider new concepts. Those who are prepared to go against the grain and think for themselves, on the other hand, are more likely to arrive at novel and accurate conclusions. Such individuals are not scared to voice their thoughts, even if they go against the norm. They are able to think critically and independently and are not swayed by public opinion or prejudice. Immanuel Kant was a German philosopher whose ideas had a profound influence on the development of modern philosophy. He was a strong advocate for reason and rationality, and his ideas continue to be. Part 10. Friedrich Nietzsche, 1844–1900. That which does not kill me makes me stronger. There is always some madness in love, but there is also always some reason in madness. And those who were seen dancing were thought insane by those who could not hear the music. Nietzsche reflected deeply on morality and is often labeled pessimistic due to his nihilist views. His view of human nature was complex, and he was hardly a simple thinker. His philosophy is a rich source of ideas that have both fascinated and outraged people over the years. From his provocative statement that God is dead to his concept of the Übermensch, Nietzsche challenged conventional thinking about God, morality, and the meaning of existence. Despite the controversies surrounding him, Nietzsche remains a towering figure in intellectual history whose ideas continue to provoke and inspire debate. His quotes celebrate resilience, emotional depth, and staying true to yourself, even if the world doesn't understand you. Jean-Paul Sartre, 1905–1980. Hell is other people. We don't do what we want, and yet we are responsible for who we are. Even if we were deaf and mute as a stone, our passivity would still be a form of action. Sartre, one of the most influential modern philosophers, spoke powerfully on freedom, responsibility, and human interaction. His famous "hell is other people" line reflects how deeply we are shaped, and sometimes tormented, by others. The idea of hell being other people highlights the challenges of human relationships and the difficulties of living in a society. It suggests that the people around us, with their judgments, expectations, and actions, can sometimes be a greater torment than any physical pain or suffering. At the same time, though, Sartre's words remind us that we are responsible for our choices and actions, even if those choices are influenced by the people around us. It's a powerful commentary on the complexities of the human condition and the challenges of living a meaningful life in a world full of other people. Michel Foucault, 1926–1984. Psychology can never tell the truth about madness, because madness holds the truth of psychology. We must confront our secret monsters, hidden wounds, and concealed madness. People know what they are doing. Often they know why, but what they fail to see is the result of what they do. Foucault, also a psychologist, was fascinated with mental health, behavior, and the fine line between sanity and insanity. He turned traditional thinking upside down and urged deep self-examination. This quote encourages us to look within ourselves and acknowledge the darkness that exists there. It reminds us that we all have the capacity for great evil, but also that we can find the truth about ourselves by facing our inner demons. Foucault challenges us to confront the parts of ourselves that we may find disturbing or unacceptable, and to examine them honestly and openly. By doing so, we can gain a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. His thoughts also highlight the importance of personal responsibility. Foucault suggests that people are often aware of the actions they take and the reasons behind them, but they may not consider the consequences of their actions. This is a powerful reminder that every decision we make has an impact on ourselves and others, and that we must be accountable for the results of our behavior. Overall, Foucault's quotes offer a challenging but necessary call to self-reflection and personal responsibility. They urge us to confront the darkness within ourselves and to consider the consequences of our actions in order to create a better world. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and share it with your friends. Thank you for watching. See you next time.